Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's show. I'm joined, as always, on the Skype from New York City. You know him, you love him, from Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's TV's Frank. It's Frank Conniff. Hi, Frank.
Hello there.
Yay, good to hear your voice. Also in the studio from Team Yasamura, it's Robert Yasamura. Hey, Robert.
Ohio.
And from the Miserable Liberal blog, it's Steph Zamorano. Hey, Miserable Liberal.
Hello, Jimmy.
Also with us, Hank Thompson. Hey, Hank, how are you?
North Dakota.
Listen, I got some jokes, North Dakota, before we get to the North Dakota jokes, shall we? Hey, by the way, congratulations. Super Tuesday. Super Tuesday was this week, and I just want to say congratulations to hatred and ignorance. Republicans voters have given you a big victory this week. Oh, by the way, you know what they call the Monday before Super Tuesday? They call it Racist Xmas Eve, is what they call it.
I didn't know that.
Yes, Super Tuesday Republicans snug in their beds with visions of lynchings and segregated lunch counters dancing in their heads. That was a good joke, Frank.
Oh, thank you.
Did you hear they asked Trump if he would disavow the KKK and David Duke? He said he didn't know anything about him, and then he said he couldn't hear the question in his earpiece. And, you know, Trump blames his earpiece on this KKK answer. You know, when questions about racism are coming through his earpiece, it hits all the racism in his brain. It causes feedback. Hey, by the way, did anybody know that? Did Kasich win Vermont? He came pretty close, and I'm putting that in my folder of news that doesn't make a fucking difference one way or the other.
I like that new segment.
Hey, did you hear at Trump headquarters there is cheering and celebrating while Christie privately sobs like the Japanese commandant in Bridge Over the River Kwai? If you saw Bridge Over the River Kwai, that's a good joke. Donald Trump getting supported by now Christie. Donald Trump is the lap band surgery of Christie's soul. You know, Marco Rubio had another third place declared victory. And, you know, years
He won a state.
He did one win.
He won a state.
You know, therapists will be showing patients Marco Rubio's victory speeches as an example of the unhealthy way to deal with disappointment and failure. By the way, you know, Christie supporting Trump like that and standing behind him at the press conference. Christie now reminds me of Jerry Hall in that first Tim Burton Batman movie after the Joker disfigured her. There you go.
Yeah.
She stood back there and gainsayed whatever the Joker said.
You know, I know Christie has a huge appetite, Robert.
He does.
But I doubt if he's
justice.
I doubt if he's enjoying all the shit Trump's making him eat in public right now. You know, whatever happened at the Trump? Did you see what happened at that Trump rally with the
They
Secret
beat up
Service
they beat
guy?
up a photographer. Yeah.
Slammed a guy down, and they kicked black kids out, and then a bunch of white racists were pushing this black girl around like a piñata.
Sure.
Did you see that? We're going to show it later in the show. And you know what happened at the Trump rally reminds me of a scene in Taxi Driver, except in this case, the Secret Service is protecting Travis Bickle. Travis, isn't that weird, Frank? Secret Service now doing the heavy-handed work for... That's not supposed to happen, right?
No, it's not.
They're just supposed to protect him from being killed. They're not supposed to go out and bounce the room for him.
Well, this is actually a return to the George W. Bush era, where the press has to stay in a pen where they can't bother the candidate. In the same way that George W. Bush would have any protesters stay in a pen away from him. And you're
also Trump has been for a while now, for almost the length of his run, he's been very abusive to the press, and a lot of press people have been physically threatened, and they have been like shunned aside and abused horribly. The press has done nothing, hasn't done any stories about that because they're so Trump's bitches that they're just going to let him do that just so they can have access to him.
Yes, they're all afraid to lose access. That's exactly 100% right.
That should have been a big story a while ago, the way he's treating the press. It hasn't been.
They didn't say anything when they threw out Jorge Ramos, and you know what Katie Tour said. In fact, right after that guy threw Jorge Ramos out of that press conference for doing journalism, Katie Tour went on with Chris Hardball and said that guy is a really nice guy, actually.
The bouncer.
Do you remember that, Frank? Were you on the show when we talked about that?
I was on the show. Yeah, I remember talking about.
He's a really nice guy, actually. That's what Katie Tour said.
An apparatchik of a complete fascist.
Wait till Trump has his crowd beat you over the head with their signs, and then pick you into and torture you in a dark room someplace, Katie, and then we'll find out what nice guys they are. Maybe you'll start reporting some stuff. Who knows?
That guy was a really nice guy. Also, Jeffrey Dahmer, great conversationalist.
Great conversationalist. And you know, Hitler had another side people didn't see.
He liked dogs.
Hey, what's coming up on today's show? We made a video about the Washington Post Dave Weigel. He blocked me on, I don't want to tip it.
Oh, this sounds good.
We'll talk about it later. Plus, hey, how did the mainstream news cover Super Tuesday and the... How do you think they covered it? Clinton wins. We're going to talk about it later. Plus, a lot of the Hillary defenders on Twitter kind of getting me going crazy. We're going to talk about that. We got phone calls today from Christie, Jeb Bush, and Reince Priebus, plus a lot more. That's today on the Jimmy Dore Show.